Well, look at that. It is late December out here in Ohio, and it's warm enough to ride a bicycle. Who would have thought? So I'm going to take advantage of it and get this review of this Invanti Tornado cargo bike done. And this is a really nice bike. So far I've been pretty impressed with this thing, and it was really easy to put together. I was expecting it to be a lot harder to put together because it's a cargo bike, but this thing went together quick and I got no complaints there. Nobody watches the unboxing and assembly portions of my videos anyway, so I'm going to blow through this pretty quick. Here is our charging cable, which is actually a 3 amp charger. This is almost a 15 amp hour battery, so it's going to take about 5 hours to charge this bike from completely dead to completely full. For ease of assembly, I do like this. Cargo bikes have a center stand, and when I was able to put that up on the center stand, I didn't have to have the front wheel on it when I did that, which made the front wheel going on a lot easier. Usually that's the hardest part of putting an e-bike together, is getting the front wheel put on. But like I said, once you get that up on the center stand, you got 3 points of contact to the ground, and you're able to put the front wheel on very, very easily. Love that. Really, a cargo bike is not made for speed, but I'm going to do these speed tests anyway. Here we go, taking off in pedal assist level 1, me pedaling, and our top speed is about 10 miles per hour. That's with casual pedaling. This thing has a torque sensor, so it should do a really good job of economizing the battery life on this thing. We'll go up to pedal assist level 2. And it looks like we're capped out at about 14 miles per hour. Level 3. With casual pedaling, level 3 is capping us out at about 18, 19 miles per hour. But if I hit the throttle, it's going to take us the rest of the way up to 20, and 20 is our top speed on this bike. Once I get up here, well, okay, guess, yeah, so it popped up to 21 there, but the voltage cut out after that and dropped us back down to 20. Howdy. I'm going to do a brake test now. I'm going to lock them up. This has single piston hydraulic brakes. They look to be pretty good, but here we go. They're not bedded in yet. Okay, I need to tighten those handlebars up before I do any further brake tests like that. I'm going to assume that one was on me. I probably just didn't crank them down quite tight enough. Anyway, with our speed tests out of the way, the only thing I have to do now is ride down our 8-mile ride, turn around, ride back 8 miles, and test our 16-mile range test. That's something that I've come to do when testing these bikes out. I've got to say, this bike, for a cargo bike, is pretty lightweight. I've ridden cargo bikes before that have been pretty darn heavy, and this one actually feels pretty good as far as like lugging it around. This thing's kind of the best of both worlds. You've got the space to pack things down, but the lightweight build to lug it around when you need to. Nice thing about cargo bikes is they have a center stand instead of kickstand, so that you can prop them up on that center stand and load them down with stuff and have less of a chance that they're going to tip over. You start loading a bike down when it's on its kickstand, and it tends to flip over easy when you start getting weight on the top end of it. Now, I wouldn't mind having a kickstand in addition to the center stand, but for 20 bucks I can pick up a kickstand and put it on this thing. As far as how it rides kind of rough, but not as bad as I had expected it to. Cargo bikes don't really ride comfortable to begin with. They all kind of ride like bread trucks, but this one is not as bad as I'd expected it was going to be. It's got pretty cushy tires, and those are doing a pretty good job of absorbing a lot of dips and bumps in the road. And it does have a front suspension, but no rear suspension. It's the rear part of cargo bikes that kind of ride like bread trucks, but this one's really not terrible. I'm going to try to maintain around 16 miles per hour as I do this 16-mile ride, and that's what we're going to base our range test on. As far as cargo goes, you've got a rack up front that's pretty good size, and then a massive rack in the back that you can strap stuff down to. Now, you've got the option where you can put like kids seats on the back, and it's got these spacer panels to keep kids from getting their feet stuck in the spokes and things like that. It's a safety feature, so good idea there. But if you're not going to cart kids around, what I would personally do is take those panels off and have more easier access to strapping and mounting points like that. The rack in the back of this thing is massive. You can get a lot of stuff on there. And it does also include a little waterproof lock bag that comes right behind the seat, and you can put stuff in there, and it comes with a card telling you how to change the lock code on that if you would need to. Now, I think the bag could have been a little bit better. It's not bad, it's just kind of janky as far as getting into. I wouldn't put anything really big in there that you couldn't fish back out easily, because the frame kind of gets in the way of the bag. Overall, pretty nice bike, pretty well built. If you are wowed by utilitarianism, then this bike will wow you. One other thing of note, this bike has a pin slot on the top of the frame down here. I wasn't sure what that was. I had to reach out to Invanti and ask them about that. And it's an expansion spot for a second battery that you can add on later. I didn't see that accessory listed on their website, so maybe it's something that's going to be available later. I don't know, but I'm not really familiar with the pinout, so if I find anything else out about that expansion battery, I will put a comment in the comment section below. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot else to say about this bike. We're just going to go for our range test ride, and I will report in when we get to our checkpoints. All right, let's do a quick walk around of the Invanti Tornado 1, and I do mean a quick walk around because I think rain is coming. But anyway, as you can see, it's a pretty long bike, and we've got plenty of room down here to mount pannier bags. These panels here are safety features, so you can get seats here to put on this rack for kids to sit on here. But if their legs hang down, this is to keep their legs from getting into the wheels. For me, where I would be using this to haul camping gear to campgrounds on rail and trails and things like that, I would take these off, and they're just screws to release them, and that will give you more mounting points to put bags and mount boxes and bags and things like that on here. This is a waterproof bag here. It's a little bit tricky to use. We've got where we can get in here and put stuff in that way, and there's a zipper along the top here to get in there that way too, and it does look like a little bit of a challenge to get this bag out of here. That's probably a good thing for anti-theft, but as far as getting stuff in, you'll be putting stuff in from the sides here and dropping it in, and there's quite a bit of room in this bag, but it's a little bit of a trick to get big things in and out of there. There's a lock here for the bag, and the bag comes with a card to show you how to reset that lock. And this is the other side. We've only got that opening from the one side. While we're over here, I'll show you that we got a 7-speed Shimano derailleur. I don't see a derailleur guard over here. It doesn't look like it's necessary because it looks like the frame doubles as a derailleur guard, so that's good. With this being a cargo bike, it's got a really long chain, so there's a chain tensioner here, and we got a protector on the frame here to also protect it from the chain. We got a single ring chain guard up front here, and another plastic chain guard over top there. Plastic pedals. The seat doesn't have a lot of padding. For the 16-mile ride that I took it on, this was plenty comfortable enough, but for any like long rides, you may want to upgrade this seat. As you can see down here, we've got a center stand instead of a kickstand. It is a little bit harder to put this bike up on a center stand than it is on a kickstand. It's still not difficult, but it would be nice to have a secondary kickstand on here as well for just quick parking and things like that. The reason that you want a center stand on a cargo bike is so that you can set it up and it stays balanced, so you can load all of your stuff on the bike and it's not going to tip over. If a bike is leaning one way or the other and you start loading a lot of heavy gear on a bike, it's going to flip over on you. So that's why it's nice to have a center stand on a cargo bike rather than just a kickstand. We've got some plastic fenders front and rear. We've got 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes. They're single piston disc brakes, and with this bike limited to getting up to like 20 miles per hour for the most part, that's going to be plenty enough to stop this bike. We've got another pretty big rack up front here. There's my hand for reference size as to how big that is, so you could get a pretty good sized duffel bag up there if you needed to. I like these tires. These are road tires and they ride really smooth, and they're 3-inch tires, so they're not, you don't got a lot of resistance with these, and they move really well on pavement and gravel and stuff like that. And I don't think anybody's going to be planning on doing any off-road riding with this, so you don't need a deep tread with the tires. We got a 14.8 amp hour battery that mounts in from the bottom here, and in my experience it's done a pretty good job of taking the bike pretty far, and the torque sensor does a good job of economizing the battery life. This thing right here is it's got a power plug icon on it, and there's what the pinout looks like. That's for a battery expansion. I don't see anything on their website about that, but my contact at Invanti told me that that's what that's about. So that's something that will probably be available in the future. I don't know. We have no suspension in the back, but this thing doesn't ride terrible. All cargo bikes ride kind of rough, but this one's not as bad as some that I've ridden. And we do have suspension up front. It's got some preload adjustment, and you can lock it out if you would so choose. Plain Jane basic headlight, and a basic tail light and brake light in the back. Up top here we've got basic controls, easy to use, not much to them. Simple screen, easy to read, nothing to complain about there. Nice comfortable grips, and I really like these BMX handlebars. I prefer BMX handlebars over T handlebars any day. So with this torque sensor, with very mild pedaling, I'm keeping the bike at 18 miles per hour. My plan was to keep it at like 16. Like I said, if you hit the throttle, it'll take you up to 20 and then it cuts you off. I wonder if I pedal harder than that. Yeah, it gets up to like 22 if I pedal really hard, and then it cuts back. So there's not a lot of point in putting any real effort into the pedaling. I would say just stick to some pretty casual pedaling. Like, I've upped my cadence and now I'm holding 20 very easily. And these torque sensors do a great job of helping to economize your battery life on long rides. Now, after you load the bike down with gear, it probably won't be as economic with the battery, but the torque sensor is going to help you economize the battery life over a cadence sensor for sure. Alright, this is not much of a hill, but we are going to do a hill climb test here. If you look over at the railroad tracks and compare it to the hill over here, you can see there's definitely a hill, but the fisheye of my camera lens always messes with this hill and makes it look a lot less steep than it is. But here we go, pedal assist level 3. I'm not going to pedal, throttle only, up the hill, and I know it's going to tear right up this hill, no problem. This thing is actually fairly torquey for a cargo bike. It's not what I would consider on par with, like, you know, a performance, you know, like a speed bike, or it's not going to win any races, let me put it that way, but it does have some decent get up and go, and I think it's got that torque so that when you load it down, it's got plenty of get up and go to manage the cargo that you would put on the bike. We'll go ahead and do another hill test up the other way. I know it's going to rip right up this hill. And don't mind that rattling noise. That's not a problem with the bike. That's my camera mounted up front. That is, the camera pole is rattling a little bit. But yeah, right up this hill, no problem. Alright, so I just ticked over 12 miles on the odometer here, and this is a pretty heavy bike, and I weigh 187 pounds. I don't remember exactly how much this bike weighs. It's pretty light for a cargo bike, but I will put the exact weight on the screen right here. Anyway, my point is, for how fast I've been going this entire ride, I've been going like no less than 16 miles per hour, and most of my speed has been like in the 18 to 20 miles per hour riding. We've dropped 2 bars. That's pretty good. This is like a 14.8 amp hour battery, so this is actually making some really good use of the battery life. And a lot of it does have to do with that torque sensor. There is one thing I want to mention that I almost completely forgot here, and that is when I started out on this ride today, I tried to connect the Invanti app to this bike to see what that was all about. I couldn't get it to connect, and that's the thing with a lot of these e-bike apps. Some of them are kind of janky. This one would not connect for whatever reason. If I come across any fix for that to be able to get this to connect to the bike, I will put that in a comment below. But with this being a pretty plain Jane cargo bike anyway, I really don't know that you'd be able to do much with the Invanti app anyway. I don't think there's anything to unlock speed-wise. I don't think I'd really want to go any faster than this bike goes as it is right now. So as far as if there's an unlock or anything, which I doubt there is, but like I said, I couldn't get it to connect to the app. I didn't see any kind of indication on the screen of any kind of Bluetooth connectivity or anything like that. So as far as the app goes, it is untested. That is, if it works at all. All right, we are creeping back to the beginning of the ride now. We're at 18.1 miles, so that was 10 miles when we were down there at the turnaround point, and I know for a fact that's 8 miles down there. So this odometer is accurate, and I will have had to have racked up 2 miles on this bike when I was doing the maintenance checks, which it's pretty easy to do on an e-bike. You can blow through 2 miles pretty fast. So anyway, we're at 3 bars on the battery. 3 bars out of 5. That's 3 left out of 5. We did 18.2 miles. And as heavy as this bike is, as heavy as I am, and as fast as we went on that ride, that's pretty darn good. So this is a 48 volt, 14.8 amp hour battery, and we went 18.2 miles at like 18 to 20 miles per hour pretty much the entire time, dipping down to 16 at times, but for the most part we were holding pretty close to 18 the entire time. So with this bike moving this fast, as heavy as it is and as heavy as I am, that's pretty darn good in my book. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.